Welcome to my vineyard ramble, Friday bank holiday morning. And as you can see, I am just in probably my vineyard with the best view ever. So I'm going to take it quite slowly today because those views, I just want you to breathe in these lovely views. So where am I? Okay, so you may notice I'm not in Touchon this morning. I've come out of Touchon, I've driven about 40 minutes and I've come across the border. I've crossed the border from Languedoc and I'm now in the Roussillon. The Roussillon, literally over here, pan round, we can see in the background, this would be Perpignan, so about an hour to Perpignan here. Pan round here, and just in this valley, we can't quite see it, but in the valley is the village of Maury. So I'm actually in Maury this morning in the Roussillon, in my little vineyard where it all started. It all started in 2008 when my parents said, "Hey Katie, why don't you buy us a little vineyard?" And that was when it started. I was still working at the cooperative in Touchon. I went out, I hunted high and low for a little vineyard for my parents, and when I got here I just knew. I just stood in this vineyard and went, this is it, I found it. And it's just totally amazing views. There's just something about this vineyard, it's just gorgeous. There is very much something about the grass in the vineyard this morning. I just mentioned that. I've already phoned Jean-Marc to say, oh, bit of grass here. Don't worry about the grass. There's enough rain at the moment that it's not going to hurt the vines at all. There's enough water for everybody, the vines and the grass. And Jean-Marc said he's going to come in next week with the grass cutters. This we have to trim. So we've got 2.5 hectares here, and it's all got to be done by a strimmer. So Jean-Marc says, I don't really want to come there twice, so let's just wait a little bit longer till it gets really long, and then I'll do it. But let's go, let's ramble. So, breathe in that lovely fresh air. Let's have a go. And now you've been following me for a while, so I'm not going to tell you what this vine is here. Perhaps you can tell me. I'm going to give you clues. If you look at the leaf and you flatten it out, it's a lovely round shape, so very round. A bigger one here. Flatten it out and it's lovely and round. It's not that indented when it gets bigger, and it's got a lovely waxy top to it. So lovely and waxy on the top. Turn it over. It's also what Maury is specialised in. On the back, not a sign of any hair on the back. So smooth. It's a waxy top and it's a round shape. So, just Grenache, Ben, congratulations. This is Grenache, and Maury is basically the home of Grenache. So this is a Grenache Gris, and it's planted, the whole vineyard's 2.5 hectares, and I have about half of it is planted with a wonderful Grenache Gris grape. Just have a zoom in there. We can actually see the grapes here. Just pick out the little grapes. Not pick them, but have a look at them. Here, the little bunches of Grenache Gris grapes. Now, when I started back in 2009, my first vintage, I just made 2 wines. So I made 2 wines from this vineyard. I made a Grenache Gris and a Grenache Noir. And in actual fact, when I came to buy the vineyard, I was told by the farmer who sold it to me that it was all Grenache Noir. And actually, that's when I came up about this time and had a look, and there's no way you can tell what grape variety this is. So he said it was all Grenache Noir, and that suited me. I just wanted to make a red wine, and it wasn't until I got to the lawyer's office and had a look at the paperwork, and it actually said Grenache Gris, and half of it was Grenache Gris. And I looked at the seller, and I just said, hey, half this is Grenache Gris, I just wanted red. He goes, don't worry, just pick it all together, mix it all together, and you can make a lovely sweet wine. Now that is the traditional sweet wine of Maury that he was talking about, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make dry wines, and that's why I ended up making, I almost didn't sign. I wasn't too hot on buying some Grenache Gris, but I'm so glad I did. The Grenache Gris just makes a fantastic style of wine. It's lovely, it's got lovely freshness, lovely acidity. I'm just going to show you the terroir, the soils here. If anybody has any questions, I try and look at them as I'm going along. If not, you have the question box at the bottom of the page with a question mark on it, where you can put your questions in, and then I can have a look at them at the end. So look at that soil. This is real schist or scree. It's slate, and that is 100%. That is all there is here. It's just lovely. And it crunches underfoot. But there's not only Grenache in this little vineyard. Just taking that view again. It's so pretty, I know. Just look. And here, oh, how could I forget to mention? What's that up there? That is the castle. It's another Cathar castle. And this is the castle of Quéribus. Doesn't that look amazing up there? You can visit Quéribus. It's a lovely, what's known as the Cathar castles, because it's on the former border between France and Spain. So it was a defence castle to begin with. But it looks after my little vineyard here. So as I was saying, we have Grenache here, but we also have some other grape varieties. I'm going to show you one that we haven't seen before on my rambles. And just to show you how different leaves can be. And I always think back to Lisa in the first one, who said, I didn't realise that vines had different shaped leaves. Look at this. Okay, can you see that? Now, we haven't seen this one before, so I'd be amazed if you know what it is, but it's very pretty. It's really indented. It's got sort of pinkish leaves when they come out. And look how it's like lace. So pretty. And it's a white grape, so it's one of the white grapes that we haven't looked at. It's not Cardigan, I think that's Carignan, Truffles Direct. It's a white grape, and it's muscat. So you're actually looking at a lovely muscat grape. And they are looking quite small, the little vines here. That's actually because we pruned it really late on. So this was our last vineyard to prune. So it's a lot smaller than the other ones. Just look at the view. And not only have we got Grenache, so we've seen the Grenache Noir, we've got Grenache Gris, and we've looked at the little parcel of muscat that usually gets eaten by the wild boar. But we've also got another favourite down here, which we've seen before, and it's just a little parcel of this. Here. So this is the other grape variety, and we have seen this one before. You can see the grapes on this one, and this is very lobed. So you've got 5 distinct lobes on the leaves. It's quite bobbly and embossed on the top. It's not waxy and smooth like the other one. It's a lot more veiny. And if you turn it over, can you see that? It's got some down on the back of it. So this is a very traditional grape variety. We've just got a couple of rows of it in this vineyard. It's not the hairy Grenache. It's the Carignan, sipping point. This is the Carignan. Very indented, 5 distinct lobes and little hairs down on the back. Let's zoom in on those grapes again. It's just delicious. So back in 2008, when we purchased the vineyard, we didn't make the wine from it straight away because I was still working at the cooperative. But in 2009, once I left the cooperative, we decided that, well, hey, why don't we give it a go? So we made our first vintage in 2009, Grenache Noir, Grenache Gris from this vineyard. And that was then to become the beginning of what is today Domaine Jones. Domaine Jones is 14 tiny little plots altogether, covering about 14 little tiny vineyards. This is our biggest vineyard at 2.5 hectares. It's about 8,000 vines planted at 1.60 meters apart. We can't actually get the plough into this vineyard because it's too steep. It's actually very steep. You're better off being a mountain goat in this little vineyard. So we're going to have to do the weeding either by hand and with a strimmer. So that's going to be the next job. I've just sent photos to Jean-Marc, so that'll be our next job. Just really looking up at the Chateau of Quéribus. Just absolutely gorgeous. So the question here from Hamish in Newcastle. Morning, Hamish. The wind is important to you. Is there more up, less up here? How high are you right now? Yeah, okay. So we're at about 350 meters. 350 meters high. And it's one of our highest points, one of the highest vineyards, which helps with the freshness of the grapes. And how high are you? The wind isn't in it. Is there more up, less up? And at the moment, just trying to understand the question. At the moment, there's no wind at all. Now, this is very unusual. It's more or less wind. Okay, thanks, Hamish. It's very unusual that there is just no wind at all. There's a slight breeze, and it's actually coming towards me, which means it's coming off the sea. So this afternoon, it's all going to cloud over, and they've forecast rain, unfortunately, for tomorrow, and rain on Sunday and rain on Monday. So please still join me though, because I'll need you. I'll still be out in the vineyards, come rain or shine, I'll be here. But yes, another wet weather on its way. What we really need is a north wind to blow from behind me, and that will dry everything out and keep it nice and fresh and healthy. So the wind, very important. The wild boar also, they love this vineyard. Thanks for that, Hamish. They absolutely love this vineyard. And we do lose quite a lot of the grapes to the wild boar here. So a nice little comment from Romka. I just saw that one, that you're loving this vineyard with all the nature. It does look very, very natural this morning, but it's just the setting. I mean, look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous. Was the muscat a surprise? It was a surprise. It definitely was a surprise, as was the Grenache Gris that I wasn't expecting either. The muscat was a surprise, and then it's like, what do you do with it? Because muscat is so aromatic, and it's not my favourite grape, to be honest. Down here they make a very sweet wine. They make a sweet muscat de Rivesaltes, which is fortified. That definitely is not my style of muscat. So we tried to make something a little bit different, and today we actually make an absolutely delicious light style of muscat, only 10% alcohol, and it's sweet. So we keep the natural sugar, we stop the ferment, keep the natural sugar in the wine before it's all fermented out, and I have a lovely delicious muscat. It's a great breakfast wine. It is, Helen, knackered mother. It's fantastic at breakfast, goes with your fruit salads. But it's a very delicate wine, and for me the muscat is a very delicate grape, and really you should try and get that expression from the lovely aromatic grape. Yeah, people have tried my muscat. I can see, Julie, you really love the muscat. We only make a very small amount, as you can see. We haven't got that many muscat grapes here, so it's a couple of hundred bottles actually that we make. Yeah, one of Adam's favourites too. Just look at that view. So we've got some good news as well. The videos that we've been taking, the rambles every morning, we're now going to put them up this weekend on YouTube. So I will be posting the link on my Instagram. You'll be able to see, and then you can go back if you want to revisit any of the vineyards and brush up on your leaf spotting skills. They will be up this weekend, which would be fabulous just to have the record. So this is we've been going 2 weeks now, and I'm going to be back on Monday. We're going to be back on Monday in a different vineyard, back over in Touchon. And I think I might have to bring my umbrella. Perhaps you can bring your umbrellas too, but please do come along. And you may have noticed just before I sign, how many bottles of wine produced from this single vineyard. So this vineyard we produce 8,000 bottles, which is literally one bottle per vine. So that's it for today. As I said, I will look at all of the questions that have come up, and thanks for all of your comments. Thanks for joining me and on my Friday vineyard ramble. So I'll be back on Monday. Same time, different vine, and I really hope to see you then. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you liked it, Mum and Dad. Bye.